As a tiny child, barely 5 years old, I've been wanting a dog, and every summer I flew from Austria to China to visit my grandparents' place. I would be pleading my granny to get me one. Asking my parents never worked. They were super against having a dog, but you know, grandmas have a weakness for cute little granddaughters. But my granddad was very against the idea of a pet, so I gave up asking her as well. Just kidding. I asked every waking moment. It took some convincing, but 4 years later, I came to visit my grandparents in the summer of my 9th birthday to be greeted by the most precious cotton ball in my life. Surprise! It's a dog! It's a dog! Mom, look! You are so cute! What? It's so tiny. Why didn't you tell me we're going to get a dog? Because you were against the idea and it's easier to ask for forgiveness than for permission. Granny! What's his name? Oh, you decide on that, Bobby. How about we call him Brad? You're not calling him Brad. Okay then, how about Cake? Mom, when you're hungry, go ask Grandpa to cook something for you. Leave my puppy out of this. It's Relachi's dog. She has to be the one to name him. And I'm gonna give him the best name ever. Your name is... Lala. Your name is Lala. I like Lala. Let's call him that. Brad was better. Quick explanation. Lala is written with the second Chinese letter for Kuaile, which means happiness in Chinese. So, for the sake of easier pronunciation and transcription, we will just call him Happy in the story. The thing with a puppy is that everything they do is adorable, no matter what. He could make a poopy in the living room and it would be adorable. Yeah, at least that's what I'm trying to tell myself, because we didn't get him potty trained for a whole month. Happy was a very, very active dog and he loved to jump on people. One time, he made a poopy in the living room, and when my granny went to pick it up, he was very adamant in getting his poopy back. He kept jumping up on my grandma until she lost balance and the tissue with the poopy fell directly on his head. I'm not even making this up. I don't know how this happened back then. I just know that I woke up to get into the room and was like, "Good morning. Happy, what's that on your head?" "Oh! Don't touch it!" And that was the summer where I got Happy. Sadly, we couldn't take Happy back to Austria because it would have included a 14 hours plane ride. And I couldn't do that to him, which is why my grandparents adopted him. And when I came back a year later next summer, I was so afraid that he would forgotten about me. I even googled to make sure that dogs have a good long-term memory, but then again, he was a puppy last time I saw him. He was like 3 months old. So how much could he remember me? When I entered the door, Happy immediately started barking at me, and dude, I was so sad! He forgot me! I tried to get closer to pet him, and that is when he very intensely smelled me, and suddenly Happy got super excited and jumped into my face. "You remember me!" He has also gotten so much bigger. I mean, he was still tiny, but he's like a tall dwarf now. A whole year later, Happy was now my grandpa's dog. And yeah, no, I was as confused as you are. I thought Grandpa hated Happy. He didn't want him. But next summer, I was greeted with Grandpa holding Happy in his arms. In our family, my granny takes home the bread. Other granny bakes bread, but my granny has set the stove on fire trying to make scrambled eggs one time, so she's not allowed in the kitchen. And therefore, my badass grandpa does all the cooking and became a stay-at-home dad. Which is why when I was back in Austria and when my grandma is working, Happy and Grandpa would spend a lot of time together. The purest love in the world is between a grumpy dad and the pet he said he didn't want. Happy would not let anyone pick him up except for my grandpa. He would pretend like he wanted to be picked up by jumping on you, but the moment someone other than my grandpa picks Happy up, he would flop around like a fish out of water. You know what really fascinates me is that every dog I know develops their own personality over time. Happy's personality can be described with one word: teenager. He was a teenager incarnated as a dog. I cannot describe it otherwise. He likes chasing female dogs. He doesn't obey any commands, so maybe this one is more on me. And he is so easily irritable. Let me tell you a quick story on that. Happy and me, we share a bed together. My grandparents gave Happy a queen-sized bed. That's the level of spoiled he was. When I was a teenager, I didn't even have a bed. I was sleeping on the couch. The queen-sized bed that Happy owned used to belong to my mom, so imagine your parents giving away your childhood room and bed to a dog. But hey, whatever, sharing his bed was awesome. I don't understand why people don't share their bed with their pets. This is the best thing ever. And his favorite place to sleep was my pillow, preferably when I was using it too. There would be an unused pillow next to me, but nope, he wants to sleep on my face. I sleep like a corpse, so I do not realize when he's sleeping next to me or on me. One day I woke up and Happy wasn't anywhere near my side, so I stretched myself real good before I got up and... Okay, I know a good owner would be really concerned that they just kicked their dog off the bed, and I would have been too if I wasn't laughing so hard. He immediately walked out the room, so I got up and followed him. He was trying to sleep on the couch and I set myself beside him to make sure he was okay, and as soon as I sat next to him, he got up and walked to the other side of the couch. So I got up, got to the other side of the couch, sitting beside him, and this dog, he didn't even look at me anymore. He jumped off the couch and walked into my grandparents' room. So I followed him to my grandparents' room, but as soon as I entered the room, he walked back to the couch again. And that kept going the whole morning. I needed to make him love me again. First, I took a treat and tried to bribe him, and he walked away. There's only one thing left. One thing that Happy loves more than treats. Happy, wanna go for a walk? That day was the hottest time during the hottest month of the year in China, so we both almost got toasted under the sun. But after we got back, Happy loved me again, so it was totally worth the heat stroke. Happy was also our therapy dog. With our therapy dog, I mean my therapy dog. And with my therapy dog, I mean I act like he's my therapist. When I became a teenager and had my first relationship troubles, I couldn't talk to anyone because I was not outed to anyone yet. But I know that I could trust Happy because he couldn't talk. Then she says I listen to terrible dance music. Can you imagine that? She listens to K-pop. That's basically dance music, but Korean. What a hypocrite! Man, you're such a good listener. And also around that time in my teenage years, a big problem has arisen. Your test result has came back positive, Miss Relachi. Is that even a real name? Excuse me? Nothing? Your cat allergies are through the roof, and due to cross allergy, you have developed a dog allergy as well. Oh, okay. But I can still have a dog, right? Nope, your allergies are too severe for you to ever own a dog. What if it's a hypoallergenic dog? No, you can never own a dog. What if I dress up the dog to look like a bird? No. What if... No, you can never own a dog. Oh no, please don't cry again. Wait a second. Hey sis! She said you can't own your own dog, right? Yeah! What if we make her friends and family own dogs so she can dog sit them for free so she's not owning any dogs? That's genius! I'm so lonely. Brain blast! Nurse, get the psychologist! The dog I had the honor of dog sitting in the summer was a dog called Jojo. He was a Shih Tzu. I always thought that breed was for a cranky old woman and they suck, but I was wrong. That Shih Tzu is super chill. Super chill. He is as active as a sack of potato. At some point I was worried about his laziness so much that I googled to make sure he wasn't dying or anything. He is very much alive. Shih Tzus just don't do much. most of the time. Because you see, 90% of the time he just lies there and I check if he's breathing to make sure he's not dead. But then there are those 10% where he just goes nuts. He would demand me to entertain him by barking non-stop or pulling on my clothes. To prevent that from happening, I would spend 2 hours a day with him in the dog park to make sure that when we're home, he can be a chill sack of potatoes again. But meeting other dogs with him is so difficult. Jojo is not only small, pudgy, and weak, I'm sorry Jojo, I love you, but he's also the most socially inept dog I've ever seen. With Happy it was easy, he didn't like socializing that much, he didn't care about other dogs. But Jojo on the other hand, he runs up to every dog he sees. We'd be out in the dog park and there would be this dog already growling at him, and everything about this dog's body language says, "Come near me and I'ma eat you." And Jojo would just walk up to them like, "Hello, new best friends." Jojo, no! While I was dog sitting him in the summer, I would sleep in every morning because it's summer vacation. I'm not waking up at 6 a.m. But dogs on the other hand get really annoying the moment it turns 6 a.m. Oh boy, 6 a.m.
We get turned up.
He would bark so loud and so long. He would wake up the entire home. Except for me, cause I got a superpower. The moment I fall asleep, that's it. Nothing will ever wake me up until my body feels like it's ready, which is very troublesome cause I often sleep through my own alarm clocks. I'm a corpse. I'm a literal dead person when I'm asleep, which is why I love sleeping, cause I really want to die. The moment I do wake up later on, I get greeted by his face full of contempt and disappointment. Good morning? And then I step into a pool of pee when I wake up, cause this is what I deserve. It's actually crazy to think that Jojo's owner wouldn't have gotten Jojo if it wasn't for me wanting to draw comics with a friend. So we have a mutual friend who's an artist as well. Because the weather was so nice, we decided to go out and draw together, and going out to draw together turned into a picnic, which turned into inviting friends to a picnic. We had a good time at the picnic, but on his way home, Jojo's owner lost his skateboard and his phone on the bus. Well then, a week later he called me saying he got a new phone and a dog, and I was like, "Oh cool, what phone? Wait, did you just say dog?" Well, the story was as follows. He got into the mall with his mom and he checked out some phones. Then his mom wandered off the pet store that was next to the phone store, and as my friend was searching for his mom, she was holding a puppy in her hands and was trying to talk him into getting it. And he saw that little guy and was like, "I really shouldn't get a dog, okay, I have a dog now." In the summer, he had a lot of classes to attend to, which is why it was a very dumb idea to get a dog so spontaneously. He couldn't get a dog sitter in time, but he knew how much I loved dogs, so he called me up and asked me if I wanted to see his new puppy. I was like, "Heck yeah, I want to see your new puppy." I went to his place and he just screwed off for 2 hours, leaving me alone with his puppy, tricking me into dog sitting. I hate to be that person, but I want you to think about adopting before you decide to buy from a random breeder, because I have witnessed firsthand. Jojo was so expensive, way too much money for a dog. He cost like 1,300 euro, and because it was a dog shop, it was a pet store, dogs weren't really healthy at all, and Jojo needed really, really, really expensive surgeries to be halfway healthy. And you can get a lot of cute dogs in the shelter. I feel like it's really not worth it buying a purebred at some random store, you know? So what I'm trying to say is, before you spend so much money on your shady ass breeders, just look into your local shelters first. And if I ever could have a dog, I would probably try to adopt one first before buying. It's just my 2 cents. Okay, I'm out. After some adjusting, I was pretty much asleep when...
Oh my god. Oh my god!
I got up and gave Elsa the "did you just hear this or was it just me" look. And her equally confused face told me everything I needed to know.
Ah!
Yep, wide awake now.
We are all going to die! Oh my god!
What's happening? Did someone break in? Tanya had switched the lights on, standing there in full-on sleeping gear with her tired boyfriend behind her. What is going on here? So the story is Dominic, the friend from Tanya's boyfriend,